What's up, guys? MySpace here, back with another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes commentary video, and as promised, I'm going to recap the damage from not our most recent raid, but the raid that we completed about a week ago. As I mentioned, we've got a lot of people who can solo Phase 1. We even have some people who will finish their Phase 1 attacks in Phase 4. So if that puts any kind of gauge or puts into numbers how overpowered some of the players on our guild really are. And that's with one team. That is not multiple attacks. That's one attack. We've got people who are very capable of contributing a very large quantity of damage to our raids. So needless to say, we're very happy with the damage output of our guild members, even the members down here who aren't putting in a lot of damage. We don't necessarily discriminate against those lower powered players because we like being able to help those players build their rosters. Now, a big thing that happened last week was Emperor's Demise. That came out, I believe it was Tuesday. I'll have to double check, but regardless, as soon as that event popped up, I was all over it like white on rice. I immediately had to go in and do this event because I was very excited about the possibility of unlocking one of the most iconic characters in the Star Wars universe, Emperor Palpatine. So needless to say, when I found that this was a Yoda-style event, requiring Rebel characters to complete the individual tiers and unlock Emperor Palpatine, I was very excited. I had already started building my Rebel squad in anticipation of the next appearance of the Might of the Empire event, which, if you guys will recall, came out a few months ago. I believe it might have been about 6 to 8 weeks ago, don't know for sure, but the achievement is still in our achievements, so I don't know if it's just a one-time event that popped up and is never coming back, and they just left the achievement for everybody who got it to gloat or just to rub it in my face because I didn't complete it. So I've been building my Rebel squad, so when this event popped up and it required Rebels, I was ready to go. Not to mention the fact that I had already been working on Akbar for raids, I had Stormtrooper Han for my arenas, and Princess Leia was just one of the characters that I was really hoping would go to free-to-play, so when she went free-to-play, of course, I had to go get her. Added bonus, I had been working on Lando Calrissian for the Scoundrel event, plus he's a Rebel, so it was kind of just one of those characters where I just wanted to farm him because he had multiple purposes. And then my Hoth Rebel Scout was just the 5th Rebel that I decided I was going to really focus on. I also have Biggs. After they made the fix to Wedge and Biggs, I had been putting more focus into him, but Hoth Rebel Scout was sitting there at 6 stars, ready to go. Already had the shards to put him at 7. So once I completed tier 6 and needed to have a 5th 7-star character to attack the tier 7, I went ahead and spent the credits because you get a lot of credits for completing this event. I think I got a total of 2.5 million credits maybe for this event total. I don't know, it was a lot of credits. So I had the surplus credits to go ahead and promote my Hoth Rebel Scout to 7 stars. But thankfully I didn't have to level him up to actually beat the event. Now, a couple of takeaways for any of you out there who are still trying to beat this event or are just getting into it or whatever. If you have Admiral Akbar, he's going to be your best bet for beating the whole event. I tried, as you see in this video, with various leaders, but it wasn't until I put Akbar back in as leader that I finally beat the event. The speed bonus, the tenacity bonus, and then the added little benefit of additional attacks whenever a non-attack ability is used. So in my case, every time I used Akbar's 2nd and 3rd abilities, Leia's stealth, and Han's taunt, I got additional attacks. Another key thing here was Lando Calrissian. If you use Lando, if he's not getting at least 2 crits on his AoE, like there, it's gonna put that AoE on cooldown, which in this case didn't really end up being that big of a factor because I had already taken out one of the Royal Guards, but it could have certainly helped with getting the event done a little bit easier, which it didn't really end up being a factor in the long run because he was moving so fast that the ability came off of cooldown, and then I got a couple of really good RNG there. I got 2 more double crits on his AoE with just Palpatine and Vader remaining, so that helped considerably. Strategy for completing this event, you pretty much need Stormtrooper Han. I don't know if anybody has been successful beating the event without Stormtrooper Han. You could maybe get to tier 6 without Stormtrooper Han, but tier 7, I think Stormtrooper Han is a mandatory piece of the puzzle. If anybody out there has completed it without Stormtrooper Han, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your account of unlocking Palpatine at 7 stars. Now, his abilities. His basic ability applies the shock status effect to your characters. The shock status effect acts as a healing immunity, a buff immunity, and a turn meter gain immunity to all of your characters, plus at the end of all of his turns, shocked characters receive additional damage, which doesn't really factor in too much because he also does additional damage to Jedis and Rebels, so all of your characters are going to be getting that extra damage at the end of each of his turns. Now, his leader ability, which plays into effect mostly in tier 7, grants turn meter and health and all kinds of crazy bonuses to Empire and Sith characters. So when Vader is using his Force Choke to apply all those debuffs, he's getting turn meter and health back, which is why when you saw in my first battle, even though I got Darth Vader down to half health and popped the taunts of those 2 Rebel Royal Guards, the next time Darth Vader's Force Choke ability came up, he popped himself back up to full health. So when you're attacking in tier 7, don't attack Palpatine or Darth Vader right off, because those Royal Guards are going to taunt, pulling you away from Vader or Palpatine. You're not going to be able to one-shot them before they pop the taunt on the Royal Guard, I promise, and you're not going to have any characters who can remove the taunt. So you're going to have to deal with the Royal Guards first. Take them out, then go to Vader, then go to Palpatine. Honestly, you could probably try Palpatine and then Vader, but I got rid of Vader because I don't like having all of those damage over time effects sitting on my characters. Dealing with the Emperor's shock ability is a little bit RNG, a little bit of luck, and a little bit of strategy. If any characters have the shock ability, like Han and Leia, then their buffs are not going to take effect, which includes taunt. So Han's taunt, you have to make sure that you clear the shock with Akbar, and then taunt. Otherwise, you're wasting the taunt. Same with Leia. Don't stealth if she has shock, because it's not going to take effect. You need to clear it with Akbar and then stealth. As you can see from the video footage, gearing Palpatine is very easy. You can get him to 7 and 8 fairly quickly. The only gear piece you may run short on is this one, and you get it from the tank challenge. So make sure you're going and doing that tank challenge to get those gear pieces. Also, getting him to gear 9 is actually easier than I thought, because it only requires a droid collar, and this raid that we just finished last night gave me the pieces I needed to get a droid collar, which in turn got me to gear 9, which guess what piece I'm short on? That silly freaking power cell. So I'm gonna be requesting and or farming this guy for a while so that I can get the remaining pieces of gear for Palpatine to get him to gear 10. In addition to those other pieces, you'll need a security scanner to get him to gear 10. Hopefully I might get lucky in the next raid and get some more scanner salvage so that I can get him to gear 10, because I use Palpatine a bunch in Galactic War. I've seen him in arenas, but I wasn't impressed because I was able to one-shot him with Rey's leverage ability and a lucky proc from my Phasma lead. As far as a roster review video, he moved up really high on my roster list, so he'll be getting a roster review video soon. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, favorite, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all later.